welcome to the South Point Studios, located here in the South Point Casino Sportsbook. I am Frank Nicotero. This is Punchlines. Frank Nicotero, longtime comedian, lifelong sports fan, and sports gambler. Thanks for being here. This is our 9th show. We're having a blast. Please come down and say hi. We've had some people stop by here at the studio. We're live in Nevada, baby. So come on down and say hi. We love the live comments. Make sure you hit subscribe and watch the show. We have a big show today. I'm very excited. On the video will be my buddy Kevin Belinkoff with some Vegas stories. We work together. Oh, the mic's not even close to me. There we go. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's live television. Welcome to the show. Should I start over? No, you guys know who I am. Frank Nicotero. Punchlines. Kevin Belinkoff will be here. Kevin will have some awesome Vegas stories. We've worked on a couple game shows here. He's also a champion handicapper in football, and the guy is on fire. He was like 9-2 in pros last weekend, so he's got some winners for you, hopefully, knock on wood. And also Jeff Parles from Sports by the Book, the show that'll be on later today, getting you ready for Thursday Night Football. He will be here to impress the hell out of me with his number knowledge. Literally, it's like having Russell Crowe from Beautiful Mind here. The guy knows every number. He crushes everything, and him and I work well together. So Jeff's going to be here. It's going to be great. As always, every day, our producer is here, Ryan Spice McCormick. Ryan, what's happening, buddy? It's a Thursday.
Biggest champion gold.
That he's wearing championship gold. We're going to get to that in 1 second. I just want to say, before we get to the reason why I'm wearing red, okay, and I think you WNBA fans know, I just want to say the Cowboys are here. You're thinking, oh, the Dallas Cowboys are here? No, Ryan. First time on set? Come on, Frank, put your phone on mute. That means I have a turn at Word with Friends up. Words with Friends. There's Cowboys everywhere, all over the South Point. We have like 700 bulls that are in the Equestrian Center. Everyone has cowboy hats on. Now, I'm going to give you a little secret. Usually, you guys, I write in my notebook. I printed out my script for the day today, but I had to go down to the business center. And I went down at like midnight last night, and I'm looking at my phone, and I look up, and I get scared to death because, Ryan, show the picture. There is a giant rattlesnake. It's fake. There it is right there. Okay, now this is for the professional bull riders. That's the Texas Rattlers. So that I looked up, and if you know me, I'm afraid of snakes. I'm like Indiana Jones. I'm tough. I'm rugged. Not really. But anyway, so I came down the elevator today. Everywhere is a cowboy hat. Like if you said, oh, check out that guy in the cowboy hat, it's every person in the hotel right now. And I actually got to meet the Texas Rattlers basketball team, bull riding team. Show the picture, me with the guys. I just met these guys right here, the Texas Bull Riders. Do you have it? So I was coming down the elevator, and they were all nice. Look at them right there. And I told them, I said that their rattlesnake thing scared the hell out of me, and they laughed at me. So I don't think I look as tough. Look at they got giant buckles, Ryan. They got hats. They got patches with all their endorsements, and I'm wearing a brand new red Skechers jacket. It's not as intimidating to the Cowboys, the Skechers jacket that I got from the lovely Vegas Outlet Mall right across the street. But no, it was nice to meet them, and I got a little emotional to meeting them, and I got a little colliginous. That means misty. That was my word of the day, colliginous. I'm going to work in my the email word of the day every day. So there you go. Big show. Why don't we get to it? Why am I wearing red and white today? Ladies and gentlemen, the Las Vegas Aces repeated as WNBA champs. Way to go, ladies.
Back to back.
Back to back. Now this could be a theme here in Vegas, right? Because I know you're a Golden Knights guy.
Yep.
Can they go back to back?
That's the hope.
That is the hope. They're 4-0, right? And they play tonight, right? They're in Winnipeg, I think.
Yep.
Vegas up in Winnipeg. That's going to be a different setting for them, isn't it?
Playing against their former goalie.
Yeah, that's right.
Laurent Bourgeois, the guy that got hurt in the playoffs that Aiden Hill replaced. So
that's going to be a good game. You'll be watching.
Yes, I will.
Yes, he will. He's a big Knights fan. They're 4-0. But let's talk about the lovely ladies of the Aces. They repeated last night. They won a road game in New York against the Liberty. They didn't want to come back here for Game 5. I know I was teasing Alex and you. Come on, let's have the celebration in Vegas. We can say we were here. So anyway, I watched the game. It was a very exciting game. It came down to the last possession for the Liberty. And, I'm a fan of all these videos of people celebrating when a team wins a championship or when there's a big play, when someone loses a big bet or, they're very funny. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to set up in my room. This is a peek into the inside workings of Frank Nicotero. So, Ryan, do we have this? Here we go. Here's me watching the last 30 seconds and then some celebratory stuff from around Vegas. But here's me in my room last night watching the ending of the Aces game. And I was very excited because I'm rooting for I'm now here in Vegas, so I'm rooting for the Vegas teams. I root for the I'm Pittsburgh, but I'm also going to root for the Golden Knights. So I think we have the video. We're going to punch it in. Okay.
My iPhone. Here we go. 1 point lead, Aces, game 4, going for back-to-back WNBA champions.
Living the life.
Here we go. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
We're going to watch this live. I'm going to celebrate because I'm
comes
now
the
in
inbound
Vegas. Let's
pass.
go, baby. Here we go. 8.8 seconds. Come on, Aces, get those hands up.
I'm
By
playing
the way,
defense.
yes, this is a box of cheese.
Cheez-Its, shout out.
I have
Okay.
shout out to Cheez-Its.
Inbound pass.
We're looking for our sponsors and
Brandon
endorsements.
Stewart. No.
And here's the last second miss by Vandersloot. Rebound. No. Now here's the Dick Van Dyke moment. And, there's an Ottoman there. Yes, Kevin will understand. He got the Dick Van Dyke reference, of course, and Dan probably did too. But there you go. I saw him win the championship.
Aces back-to-back.
Very exciting. That was very exciting, wasn't it? Now we have some. Now around town, I mean, Vegas, come on, it's a championship, right? Now, This could happen in February if the Raiders win the Super Bowl. Okay, that's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. The Raiders aren't going to win the Super Bowl. But look downtown. This is down on Fremont Street, right? They have that. There it is.
Yeah, in the Arts District.
Arts District. I've been down there.
And then it's going to go into the
It goes into We Are the Champions.
the Aces flight home. They're
Okay, now the ladies,
They're
the
playing
Aces,
each other.
I have not seen this video. The Aces, they were in a good mood. Let's just say that. They were celebrating with those giant Michelob bottles. Is it beer or champagne in those?
I would guess beer.
Yeah, you would think so. Michelob Ultra paid the money. They want beer in there. So here's the flight coming home. Look at that. They gave him the salute with the waters.
A little
That's
shower.
awesome.
That's it.
There you go. Well, congratulations. And there they are, 2023 WNBA champion. What a hard-fought win. KP was awesome. I watched that game. If you haven't watched WNBA action, the Aces are the team you want to watch. All right, before we bring Kevin in here, we have a couple on this day in sport history, celebrity birthdays. Let's get right to it. We have a really cool graphic that Ryan has. Oh, look at that. Ooh.
Futuristic.
And that's, we're going to go into birthdays first, right? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So, celebrity birthdays. You know, we were talking yesterday to Duane Colucci. He was talking about Floyd Mayweather, and happy birthday to Floyd Mayweather Sr. today. He turned 70 years old. There's Floyd Mayweather Sr. Happy 70th to him. His
71.
son has taken care of him financially. I would think Floyd Mayweather, his son's worth about $400 million.
If he still has it.
If he still has, he does gamble a lot.
Yeah.
Junior likes to gamble. But more importantly, on October 19th, Evander Holyfield, ladies and gentlemen, born in 1962. Look at that badass. Now, you know, I always like to tie in with Vegas, and can you get more Vegas than boxing? Evander Holyfield, he faced Mike Tyson twice, right? We remember these fights. Actually, Ryan, you don't. But anyway, June 28th, 1997, the first Holyfield-Tyson fight. No, in 96, sorry. And it was right here in Vegas at the MGM Outdoor Garden there. And in that fight, it opened. This is the odds on the fight. What do you think the odds were? First, and this is Tyson when he was invincible. What are the odds on Tyson to beat Holyfield? What to 1?
This is when Tyson's in his prime?
He was in his prime.
I mean, 2.
25 to 1.
What?
25 to 1. So the books got flooded with Holyfield bets. It closed around 9 to 1, and then Holyfield wins by a TKO in the 11th round of 12 rounds. And I was talking to Chris Andrews. He said Vegas took a bath on that, right? Because everyone saw that line and went, I would take Holyfield. You know, you never know with Tyson. He might have already, he lost to James Buster Douglas already, I believe, right? Yeah, he had. So anyway, then the rematch, of course, is the most famous fight. That's Tyson Holyfield 2. They called it the Sound and the Fury. Ironically, they called it the Sound because Tyson bit a piece of his ear off, for God's sakes. He bit the top 1 inch of cartilage off his ear, and he spat it out onto the ring apron. And literally, I Googled this 3 times. They said it was a 1-inch piece of cartilage, which means, Ryan, someone had the job to measure cartilage. Someone had to pick it up and go, all right, bring a tape measure, bring a ruler out. Yeah, and do like a little CSI thing.
You think they weighed it?
They might have weighed it. Yeah. It's kind of gross when you think about it.
Yeah.
Where is that piece of ear? Does anyone know? At any point that you can find out, let
Has
me
it
know.
not
Maybe in the live
shriveled up?
comments. What's that?
Has it not shriveled up?
Well, if you purify it, right? If you put it in some embalming fluid or Windex will purify anything. I don't know. I saw it in the Big Fat Greek
All
wedding. Do we have any live comments? Maybe anyone on the live comments knows where that piece of Evander Holyfield's ear is. They could let us know.
Not quite, but Girl Genius asked if any of the PBR Cowboys are single.
I don't know if any of the PBR Cowboys are single. I know this guy carrying some sort of coffee drink peering at us. He's probably single. He's alone walking. But yeah, the PBR guys, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of them. No bull. And I'm going to go over there tonight. Jerry, who works on the show with us, I'm going over to the equestrian center. We have an equestrian center here that can hold like 4,600 people here at the South Point. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to shoot some bull footage, and we'll see what I come back with tomorrow on the show. Should be fun. I've never seen bull riding live. Let's be honest, I've never seen, but I've watched bull riding on TV.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I last about 8 seconds. That's how long they last on the bull. And then we had one more birthday. And you want to talk Vegas? Oh, my God. Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, who directed Iron Man, of course, and he's responsible for The Mandalorian. But let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, where did we first discover Jon Favreau? In sports. How did we discover him? Rudy. He's in Rudy. He's Rudy's roommate. He plays Sean Astin's roommate in the movie Rudy. Vince Vaughn's also in that movie. And that's the movie Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau met on. There's Faz right there. 57 years old today. Happy birthday to Jon Favreau in front of The Mandalorian. Are you like a Star Wars guy?
Yeah, big Star Wars fan. My girlfriend's a huge Star Wars fan.
I love Mandalorian's good. Boba Fett I was a little disappointed in.
Yeah. The Ahsoka series is pretty
That's what
good.
everyone's saying.
Yeah.
I haven't
Touches
watched
the
it
bases
yet.
it needs to.
But the Obi-Wan Kenobi one, a little slow too.
Yep.
But I don't know. I just like to watch the original Star Wars. Jon Favreau, who I met one time. Whoa! Watch your toes. I'm dropping names. I met Jon Favreau at the Spawn premiere, movie Spawn, which is a Todd McFarlane comic book. And he was there, and I went up to him, and I just said, hey, I'm a comedian. I just moved here from Pittsburgh to L.A., and this was right after Swingers came out, which is about a guy who moves from his hometown, New York, out to L.A. to be a comedian. And he kind of smiled and nodded. And then I asked him, I go, how's Leatherheads looking? And I knew he was doing a movie called Leatherheads with George Clooney about football when they wore the leather helmets. He goes, oh, it's looking really good. So I talked to him for a minute. He was a super nice guy. And Swingers, I mean, Vegas, baby, Vegas. Come on, we used that clip last week. I love Jon Favreau. He was great. And also at that party, the Spawn party, Chris Farley was there. And very sad. Just weeks later, he passed away. Wow, way to bring the show down, Frank. My goodness. All right. And lastly, on this date in October 19th, Peyton Manning breaks the all-time NFL record at the time with his 509th TD pass. He threw three on a Sunday night football game as the Broncos routed the Niners 42-17, becoming the all-time TD leader, which, of course, he is no longer the touchdown pass leader. But 509 at the time. Do you know who he passed at the time?
Can't think of that.
Who did he pass? Jeff? Who did Peyton Manning pass as the all-time touchdown leader?
You got an answer? He asked you.
That was Jeff, who just walked in the studio. He'll be on with us tonight. It was. Does anyone take a guess? 3, 2.
Do we want to leave it for Jeff to come back to?
No, because I want to ask you. Well, here it is. It was Brett Favre. He passed Brett Favre.
Who's
Favre
that guy?
had 508, 509. Now, of course, we know the all-time touchdown pass leader now is Ryan.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
Tom Brady.
Ben Roethlisberger. No, Ben Roethlisberger. No, it is. It is Tom Brady. Tom Brady, 649 regular season touchdown passes. That's going to be hard to beat. Second is Drew Brees with 571, who I caught a pass from, by the way, Drew Brees. I was doing warm-up on a show called, what was that science show that the kids used to watch? Brain Games or something? And I did a couple days. Keegan Michael Keel hosted. And Drew Brees is throwing balls to people in the audience on break. And I'm like, holy, I got to catch a pass from Drew. So I go, hey, Drew, can you throw me a pass? So I go out, I catch it, and those line toe tap, both feet in bounds, completion. I caught a pass from Drew Brees.
I think we need video evidence.
There's no video. I think I might have had video at one point. I'll do a deep dive. No one gives a crap. But anyway, I caught a pass from Drew Brees. Now, I wanted to ask you, there's some active leaders on that list in the top 20.
Okay.
Active quarterbacks. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 in the top 20. If you get the fourth one, it's a miracle. But anyway, the first one, he's hurt. I'll give you that. So who's that? Quarterback who's active, but only played 4 plays this year.
Who's been in the league for a long time?
He's the Jets quarterback.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is 5th with 475. Now, there are 3 active quarterbacks. Who do you think? This guy, one of them has 339 and will be playing my team this weekend, the Pittsburgh Steelers. University of Georgia. Won a Super Bowl.
Man, who did the Steelers
with the
even
Rams.
play? I don't even know who the Steelers
3 years
played this
ago.
week. I can't even.
His name rhymes with Badford.
No.
Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has
I don't know why Sam
339.
Bradford was the first.
In my head last night, this went much better. I just want to say that right now.
Yeah,
right?
no, I'm sure when we were going over this.
The other 2 active guys, Russell Wilson with 320, number 20 all time. This is bizarre. This is a surprise to me. Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is in the top 20 of touchdown passes. Also the top 20 of choking every year. But anyway, Kirk Cousins, Pretty interesting. All right, a guy who never chokes, ladies and gentlemen, because he is a friend of mine, and I want to read the intro that he sent me because I said, hey, do you want to send me an intro about you? Because this guy's done a lot, and I'm going to read it right now. This gentleman, I haven't seen him in person in a while, maybe since the last time we had lunch. He is an Emmy-nominated producer, a former National Handicapper Bowl champion, which we'll get to, and he's also responsible for both high-stakes poker and World Series of Blackjack, two of the most successful gaming-related shows on television. And he also wrote that he's the reigning Mr. Universe. I don't think that one's true, but it's Kevin Belinkoff. Kevin, welcome to the show. There he is. Oh, I got to put my headphones on, ladies and gentlemen. And Kevin, also a sports fan and a sports freak. I have a feeling he might have known a couple of those quarterbacks on the list, right?
I did. I knew a couple of them. But I also hear something I bet you don't know.
Uh-oh.
Why do the Cheez-Its have a hole in them?
Oh, my God. Now, if you know any of my stand-up, which some of you do who are watching, I've done a bit about Cheez-Its in my act and my mom. I did it. I bring it back when I'm playing an older crowd. So I'm a huge Cheez-It. We always had Cheez-Its in our household. My dad loves them. My mom. My sister claims she invented putting peanut butter on them and putting two together to make a Cheez-It sandwich. The hole is for some sort of, they don't break as easy, maybe.
Close. They don't explode when they're being cooked. Otherwise, they'd explode when they're being cooked.
Now, how many
This is the stuff you know when you do game shows. You should have picked up on some of this stuff over
I
the
should have known.
years.
Now, Kevin and I we've worked a million times on game shows and run-throughs and all sorts of stuff. You were at Game Show Network. I don't know when we met. I can't even remember when we met.
I'm not sure.
All right,
I'm not sure.
But anyway, listen, this guy knows game shows, but he
I don't
also
go back to Ultimate Fan League. That's wasn't that your like big break?
I'll tell you what, if you're on YouTube after the show, when the show's over, you're on YouTube, you want to hit Ultimate Fan League, Team Pittsburgh, or Frank Nicotero. Me and my buddy Frank Murgy, this was a sports game show on Fox Sports. We represented Pittsburgh. They had teams from all over the country, and we ended up finishing third or fourth, won a bunch of prizes, and I couldn't go on the trip. I won a trip to Portugal, but I couldn't do it because then I got street smarts and I had to go on the road and shoot that. But I won an entertainment center, a big Bertha, a little collapsible camping table, which I still have. Entertainment center I got rid of, but yeah, I was on that game show, and it started my career down the game show lane. But we worked together. I want to talk about Vegas. We worked together here in Las Vegas with comedian Billy Gardell, who's from Pittsburgh, and we're going to get Billy on the show. Billy, this is the clip we're sending you. We want you to come on, talk about the Steelers, maybe after the Rams win. We want to have you on. We did Monopoly together.
We did. Monopoly Millionaires Club. It was a show we did with the Multi-State Lottery Association. It was huge, and
giant.
It was a thrill. It was, yeah. In fact, if you behind, well, it's now the Horseshoe, but behind Bally's, our stage is still there. The sound stage is still there. It's a giant white, kind of looks like a warehouse, and Caesars wound up buying it, and now it's one of the largest sound stages in the country. Really.
Yeah, really, that's where we shot Who Wants to Be a Millionaire too. We shot it in that sound stage right behind Bally's.
Yeah,
I would just come down from my room in Bally's, and one day I was on the phone. I didn't get scared by a rattlesnake, but you know those things, Ryan, that are the parking garage, the things that go up and down to let cars in and out of a parking garage. One came down on my head when I wasn't paying attention. Car was in front of me. I let the car go. I'm looking at my phone. All of a sudden, bam. But you know what? No concussion protocol for me. I went back out there and I did my damn job. I went back out there and I made people laugh. I probably had a concussion. I could have sued, but I didn't. I'm a player. So, Kevin.
You'd own this place by now.
I'd own Bally's. That'd be Frankie's. So, listen, let's talk football. Last week you sent me picks. And first of all, last night you gave Billy Gardell, you gave him New Mexico State. You're on New Mexico State, right?
I did, yeah.
Now, you sent me some NFL picks last week, and you crushed it. Now, tell people the background. Tell me about your Handicappers Championship that you won.
Well, when I first got out of college and started my TV career, there's just a lot of time when you're not working. I guess it's probably similar to being a comic. And so I used to bet on sports and play poker back before it was cool. And so I sort of developed my own sort of style. And I guess the best way I can put it is I avoid thinking, if that makes sense.
Smart
so
when gambling,
the way I figure it, you've got the guy who runs a sports book. He knows far more about this stuff than I'm going to know.
Yeah, Chris is the best.
So anytime you hear somebody handicapping by saying, "Oh, I think the defense is going to rise to the occasion," or "I think this," I just ignore that entirely because that's stuff everybody knows. So I try and deal with just numerical facts. You mentioned Pittsburgh and the Rams coming up. For example, the Steelers.
It's like 3.5 right now.
I wrote it down and I can't find it here. But the Rams have stayed under in 7 of the last 8 home games against the AFC.
Okay, there you go.
So that's something to take a look at. They've had the same coach for a while, so you want to find teams that have a character and that have the same sort of repeating patterns. And so I'll likely take the under in that game. That's not the only reason. You just want one reason.
Well,
but
it's also because the Steelers' offensive
trends
coordinator
and numbers and things like that. So
yeah, that's a good
that?
one. I was saying, and also the Steelers' offensive coordinator Matt Canada is brutal, and our offense doesn't really click very well. It hasn't.
But you're thinking. I'm
thinking. Ryan, never think when it comes to gambling.
Yeah. I just try and use the numbers and hopefully they add up. And I don't love tonight's game. I think I like the under in that game as well. There are a lot of unders. If you saw the lines this week,
it was, I think it went 12-2, 11 at 12-2. I think were the unders last week.
Yeah, and a lot of the lines now are under 40.
Yeah.
And that's unusual. Usually you get 1 or 2 games a week, and now there's quite a few that are under 40, and I think there's only one that's over 50. There it is, right
Dolphins,
there.
Yeah, Dolphins and Eagles. Yeah, there you go. Look at that tonight. There's the
yeah,
Jags.
and I'd actually like that one to go over. But here's one for tonight. I wrote it down and I can't find. Oh, there it is. Do you know the Jaguars have gone under in 26 of their last 37 after going over? So they don't have a lot of consistency in that world. After scoring 28 or more points, they stayed under in 12 of 17. So those are the numbers I kind of look at. Those are the things that I kind of add up. I don't care about injuries. I don't care about weather. That's all taken care of in the line.
Right.
So if I try and focus on, again, just facts, just the facts, man.
Just the facts.
And it's worked out rather well.
By the way,
many years ago, I was the National Handicappers Bowl champion.
Yeah, so first of all, he just made a Dragnet reference. That's the first one on Punchline so far.
Saints games are also 6-0 on the under.
Wow, this year
Saints
are
6-0. They are. Saints have stayed under every game this year, and that's probably why they're starting to come down. All the lines are. The guys who run the books, they're not stupid. They know people are just going to be pounding the under, and so those numbers are coming down. I'm still going to play them under. I'm still going to look under. But that could change, and if it does, you have to adjust.
Now, it's so hard for me as a high energy guy who wishes well to everyone. I bet the overs. I'm like the soccer. I'm like most people at the sports book. I love the overs. Last night I nailed it. I took I had the Grand Salami here at South Point. Remember, I was telling you guys yesterday, the South Point, the NHL, you can bet the Grand Salami, which last night it was only 13.5 goals, and the Penguins game and whatever the other game was went over. Washington Capitals game. Ovechkin went shotless for 2 games in a row for the first time in his career. Anyway, Grand Salami tonight with 12 games, 76.5. I'll probably throw a little bucks on it just because I root for everyone. Tell us about the handicap championship thing that you won.
Well, again, that was many years ago.
Yeah, that's something awesome.
And the last time I checked, actually, and the National Handicappers Bowl has been around for probably about 30 years now, and I still have the highest single season record the last time I checked. So it was just sort of a magical year where everything we did kind of went right. And it was a big shift in the NFL. There was a lot of new things happening. It was actually the year that both the Rams and the Raiders left Los Angeles. and so some of their numbers they weren't going to be consistent because the Rams went from playing outside to playing inside in St. Louis. They went from natural turf to artificial turf. They went from being awful to being kind of good. So that happens. And so that's kind of what I look for. I look for different changes, different situations. The Rams are at home for the 3rd straight week this week, which is traditionally a pretty good thing in the NFL. It's actually the Rams are not good in that circumstance, but so I look for unique things to each game and try and isolate those, and it's gone pretty well.
Yeah. So the over under tonight, I know Sean had it up there. Wait, was it 39 for tonight?
40.5.
40, it went up to 40.5. Okay. 40 and the hook, as we like to say here in Vegas.
Very nice.
I got all the lingo down. Now, I want to go back to Monopoly for a second. So
Yeah.
So it was a game show, like he said here. It was massive. The scale was massive that we did this show. And I remember, I guess we were at the Rio. We were staying at the Rio.
We started at the Rio before it was overrun by cats. Well, that was sort of an interesting situation. We built the soundstage there, just like we did behind Valley.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem was it was built on a parking lot.
Yeah.
And so there was an incline on the parking lot. But the people that built the stage didn't take that into account.
That's right.
So we had this massive set, and the problem is that as you went backstage, the room from the top just kept getting smaller and smaller because the floor was going this way. So they had to rebuild the floor, and it was kind of like this, and they had to push the set over the hump. So that was a mess. We were right next to the railroad tracks at the Rio, which made it really interesting because we had a railroad game because it was Monopoly, and all the games were based on Monopoly. And this is actually true. One time, the train outside came at the exact moment when the sound effect for our train was supposed to happen, and nobody realized it. So anyway, they rebuilt this. Yeah. So they rebuilt the stage over behind Bally's, now the Horseshoe, and it was great. It was just a lot of fun, and it was one of the few shows where because it was a lottery show, we couldn't screen the contestants. We got who we got.
Oh my God, that's right.
and it was a lot of fun because of that. We had people. A lot of the people that played in the game had never been to Las Vegas before.
Right.
We had one woman who was in her late 80s who had never been on an airplane before. And so, and I'm from Los Angeles. Oops, knocked the microphone over. It's like that's unusual for our contemporaries.
Game show contestants are usually screened. They're high energy. They got big personalities. But because these were lottery winners flown to Vegas, you got what you got.
Yeah, and but it was really exciting. These people loved it. They had a chance at winning $1 million. We gave away, I think we had 4 millionaires in 2 seasons, which is the most frequent hit ever on television. Our original game, you had a 1 in 11 chance of winning $1 million, which how often in life do you have a 1 in 11 shot at being a millionaire?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. We'd love to bring it back, but there's all kinds of stories behind that. The lotteries are an interesting thing. You don't have one in Nevada, and consider yourself lucky. The lotteries are run by state bureaucracies, and there are like 48 lotteries in the United States, each with their own rules and their own bureaucracy. So we had to work our way around that.
What's the other
which
state?
Was not
what's
easy.
The other state besides Nevada that it doesn't have a lottery?
Alaska and Hawaii don't have a lottery. Utah doesn't have a lottery, and I believe Alabama doesn't have a lottery, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I do know for a while there's a gas station right on the border between Georgia and Alabama, and that was the highest selling Powerball spot in the country because everybody would, in Alabama where you're not allowed to gamble, they would drive there and buy Powerball tickets.
It is those 5: Alabama, Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, Utah.
There you go. But the funnest thing the most fun part about the show was, Scott St. John was one of the executive producers, right? And he's like, Frank, he goes, do you want to come to Vegas, get paid, and then we can gamble all night? So I was like, yeah, let's do that. So you and I know Scott, we played blackjack at the Rio, and Kevin, we had a really good time playing blackjack.
We did. I don't drink when I gamble. I can't say the same for Frank, though. If you ever have the opportunity to play blackjack with Frank, I highly recommend it. You may not win money, but it'll certainly be entertaining.
He's not the only person. I have several friends, and I'm not bragging, but I'm fun to play blackjack with because once I get on a roll and once I have a few drinks, then every time a blackjack hits the table, I'll do a lap. I'll do a lap around the whatever the casino area is. Oh, yeah. And then, I don't know why I'm telling this. So it was one night, my friend Bob, who's probably watching, we were at the Hard Rock playing blackjack, and I ran out of money, and I tried to wager a chapstick. Yeah, that's when they kind of shut me down. I'm like, chapstick, I'm going to wager on this. Our favorite.
Well, I don't know if you remember at the Rio, but they had these commemorative chips with Rod Stewart on them. I guess he had performed there. Do you remember
think he
this?
was, vaguely,
and
yeah.
So Frank kept holding it in front of his face, pretending he was Rod Stewart talking to the dealer. And my attitude with dealers is they're stuck. They have to listen to whatever you say. So I try not to be too abusive, but they can't move. They have to listen to whatever you're saying.
That's another reason the Hard Rock.
They find it funny.
Yeah, it's another reason the Hard Rock didn't want me around, because they have all rock stars on their chips, and if it was like Tom Petty, I'd be like, and then
can I plug Blackjack at the South Point? Because Blackjack at the South Point's the best. I will
3-2.
3-2 everywhere, and great dealers, and just a fun environment. Love the South Point.
Come down to
we did high stakes poker at the South Point. So we did 2 or 3 seasons of high stakes poker when the South Point had just opened.
Oh, and you shot it here.
Yeah, we did. We didn't. The first seasons were done elsewhere, and then we almost did Monopoly at South Point. They just didn't have a place because of the expense. We built the stage and left the set there. It would have cost too much to put it up, take it down, put it up, take it down, and the South Point didn't have a place where they could dedicate our stage, so we weren't able to be there. Otherwise, we probably would have. South Point's great. Do I get paid for that?
Yeah, you do. I know some people here now. Maybe when we bring the show back, we do it at South Point. And I just remembered at Blackjack, when you hit Blackjack, I don't know if it was at the Rio, but also sometimes you get a 50-cent piece, which has JFK on it, right? And that was another impression I would do quite frequently after a black. Oh, hit me with the Blackjack. I need a 2, like I need another hole in my head. It was very poor taste. There was a lot of drinking. Was that too soon for a Kennedy joke? I don't think so. Do we have any live comments? Anything going on over there, Ryan?
Yeah, a good amount of interaction.
Good.
Sorry, between Girl Genius, Courtney, Ted Fisher, Michael Updegraff.
I don't know who Michael Updegraff.
Oh yeah, Michael Updegraff is a lighting genius. He worked on our Monopoly show.
Oh, there you go. Then I must know Michael. Things. If I saw him, I'd probably know him. Well, that's good. There's a lot of back and forth.
When we did Monopoly, he had like a bad leg or something. He was in this little scooter the whole time. That was that guy.
Okay.
But I hope you're walking well and you're healthy now, Michael.
Anything else, Ryan?
Just here. Let me figure out one.
By the
Courtney says she hates playing blackjack with you, or you hate playing with her.
I'm the best. I taught her everything she knows. All right. Anyway, yeah. So, by the way, I have a sheet. Well, I'm going to save that for Jeff. Actually, is there any NFL games that we want to throw out to people tonight, Kevin, that you love, or this weekend? I mean, I know you mentioned a few, but was there something? Because I know you always like to crush numbers. I don't want to put you on the spot if you haven't yet.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at Atlanta as a possibility. They're a small underdog, and they excel in that circumstance. Detroit's kind of an interesting situation because I talk about the history and the numbers. Detroit's have completely changed. They used to be a horrible favorite. Right. You couldn't, laying points on the road with them was you never. I wouldn't do that, but they're a different team now, and that's part of the adjustment. That's part of how you have to look at these numbers and kind of stay a little ahead of them. The 49ers are a great example. 49ers used to be the worst home favorite. Wow. It was money in the bank to play, and now they're great. So you just have to sort of be there at the right spot. Here's one for tonight.
Okay.
I found.
Yes. All right. Is that Maction or what do we got tonight?
The Saints have covered just 2 of their last 15 at home against AFC teams. So keep that in mind.
So keep what in mind again? Sorry, I missed that, Kevin. I just want to make sure.
The Saints have only covered 2 of their last 15 at home against AFC teams.
Ooh, 2.
So I'd play Jacksonville. Yeah. Okay. Jacksonville is an interesting situation. They were in London for 2 weeks. Then they came back. Are they tired? I don't know. Don't think. Yeah. But just try and kind of put that in the mix as well. So okay. I'm not playing tonight's game. But if I did, I'd play Jacksonville. I'd probably play the under as well.
The under. And we don't know. And Ryan, we were talking about this right before we went on air. Coach Peterson has said that Trevor Lawrence is playing, I believe. So Lawrence, who has a knee issue, but that he is going to play. And the backup is.
And again, I don't look at stuff like that. I figure the line will take care of itself.
Right.
And so, if he doesn't play, then the line's going to move. Yeah. So I don't want to have to worry about that sort of stuff.
And the backup
I did find one good college game for you this week, which is Penn State, who's a small underdog at Ohio State. Now, Penn State hasn't played anybody any good, but they have covered 10. They're 10-2-1 against the number on the conference road in the Big Ten, and they've covered 6 of the last 7 in the series. So expect them to keep it close. I'll take the points in that situation.
Yeah, it's around
Most
4
of the time,
here.
I'm going to take an underdog. Underdogs are going to cover more often than favorites do, especially the big ones in college ball. But so anyway, that's your free selection.
I love the free selection. And by the way, it's hard for me to bet on Penn State right now. Yeah, they're getting 4 points over 45.5. Pitt, the University of Pittsburgh. I always rooted for Pitt. They have more wins against top 20 teams than Penn State currently when they beat.
Yeah, well, Pitt. I was all over Pitt last week. You may remember that. That was, I think, one of my best bets.
It was your best bet. You sent them in a descending order, ascending order, descending order.
Yeah.
Further or farther?
Whatever. From good to bad.
Yeah, good to bad.
Yeah, but I actually like Wake Forest this week. I'm going to go against Pitt this week.
Yeah.
Coming off a big win.
Yes.
It's just it's a nice spot for Wake Forest to do some damage, and they're a good team. They're a good team.
Yeah.
Pitt, if you look at them statistically, this is another one of this actually deals with the Steelers as well. If you just look at the game on paper, don't look at the score. Pitt should not win ever. Neither should the Steelers, for that matter. The Steelers have yet to outstat a team this year, and so I don't like playing teams that shouldn't have won.
I know.
Trust
me. I have to watch these games.
But yeah, so but the Steelers are good. Steelers are always a solid underdog. I just don't like them in this spot.
That's what I'm counting on, and I'm also counting on it, Steeler Nation out there, that it will be kind of a home game because when I was there, the Charger game a few years ago, it was like 80% black and gold and terrible.
Yeah,
times.
Chargers and Rams are a little different.
Exactly.
The Rams are going to have a few more fans there, but it's still LA's not. We're still not there with football. I don't know if we'll ever be there. We're Dodger town, a Laker town.
Lakers and Dodgers. All right. Kevin, thank you for being on the show. He gave us a couple picks. He likes the under tonight if you were betting, slight under. And you're going with Penn State. So there you go. That's a couple good picks.
Yeah, and I'll text you. I'll give you a text tomorrow or the next day or whatever. We'll get you some winners, Frank. We're going to turn it around for you.
I love it. I'm doing okay. I'm like right about here. The Phillies. I got the Phillies today. I like the Phillies.
I was on Houston last night. I thought that was probably the best postseason play ever. Was Houston getting a little juice last night? They were like plus 105 or something.
Wow. All right, we're going to talk baseball. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk all sorts of stuff with from Sports by the Book host Jeff Parles right after this break. Kevin Belinkoff, thank you very much. See you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Frank.
2 minutes and 2.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
All right, welcome back to Punchlines. I'm Frank Nicotero. Ryan, are they still battling on the live comments? Is there still an epic battle going on between people?
Somewhat.
It's calmed
Michael
down a little bit?
Updegraff and Tommy Green wanted us to talk to Kevin about their fantasy league.
Oh,
Kevin's 6-0.
They must be in a league with Kevin. Okay, all right. They wanted to talk some smack on that. Hey, thank you. I know Kevin posted about this on Facebook. We love when you guys share the links. Please, we love having everyone come in. Kevin brought a bunch of people with him today, which is great. Hey, if you're enjoying the show, please click subscribe. We need the subscribers. We would appreciate it. And we have another great show coming up later today right here at South Point Studios. And the host of that show from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific is right next to me. It's Jeff Parles, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff is here. He'll be on with Vinny later on. Jeff knows everything, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he's here. I love talking.
I wish I did, Frank.
You know a lot, man. I want to talk. Let's just talk baseball right now. I know you're a Mets guy, and you hate seeing the Phillies do well and Zach Wheeler, but the Phillies today, I mean, I've been riding the Phillies. I've been doing well with them. They've been playing well. Now they're on the road. And here's what you look at as a fan. A guy, they have Ranger Suarez, which is the greatest name of a pitcher. And then Ryan, how do you pronounce the name for the Diamondbacks guy? The pitcher?
Brandon Pfaadt.
Pfaadt. The guy's name is spelled Pfaadt. I'm not putting my money on him. I'm just not doing it. Pfaadt. Whatever. I'm going Ranger Suarez. But the Phillies, I mean, they're on fire right now. That lineup doesn't seem like there's a hole in it. I like the Phillies, but what do I know?
Juggernaut right now.
It really is.
Absolute juggernaut. They are, I was listening to ESPN Radio earlier in the day today when I was driving around, and Chris Carlin made a very good point that it feels inevitable right now with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Does,
and
yeah.
you very rarely feel that in the baseball playoffs.
I completely agree.
You feel that in other sports, but baseball is very rare. And you know what? At least in this series, yes, it feels inevitable. Now, regardless of who comes out of the Lone Star State Showdown, we'll see. Because both Texas and Houston would have home field against the Phillies. Maybe that changes things. Obviously didn't impact that series against Atlanta. But, I didn't bet this game, Frank.
Yeah.
I just, if the Diamondbacks are going to get a game in this series, it makes sense to get today.
Yeah.
But the Phillies are just rolling so well right now.
Just rolling.
So I have no problem with your Philly bet.
Yeah.
I just stayed out of it.
That, and then there's a prop bet, too. I've been looking at the Philly overs. The Philly team over seems to be doing well. Let's see what the Philly team over is. It's like probably 4.5.
4.5 or 5.
4.5 or 5, yeah. I mean, the way they've been swinging the bats. And then, the player props, which you can get around town here in Vegas. I mean, Bryce Harper's usually over 1.5 total bases. I know Castellano, he's been around that same thing. That's always a fun bet because you can cash it in the first inning. Like Schwarber. His over-under is usually about a half or 1.5. He hits a home run in his first, boom, you won. You sit back and you switch over to WNBA like I did last night when I got bored with the Rangers game, but I'd already hit my prop bet. Football is king in Vegas. Let's talk about it. I grabbed this sheet real quick, Jeff. Yes, here at South Point. By the way, get the app. That's what I've been doing. I've been placing my bet, the South Point app. There's actually Canadian football lines. There's 2 games on Canadian football. Tonight, tomorrow, Calgary Stampeders against BC Lions. Then on Saturday, I don't have to tell you guys, Toronto Argonauts versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then this is the play of the week. Edmonton Elks getting 12 against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Give me the Elks. Who do you like in that game?
Well, the deep dive on the Canadian football is not what I expected, Frank. But I will tell you this because the Elks, they used to be the Edmonton Eskimos, and they changed their name to the Elks.
Right.
And they were the worst team in the league. They hadn't won a game in like 18 games and then have won 4 out of their last 8.
This is only you get from Jeff Parles.
No, hey, look, they're still bad. I have no play. I'm not betting this. I haven't looked at that. What is it? What is it, like week 18, week 19 up there?
Week 20.
Week 20. Oh, okay,
week
sorry.
20.
Week 20. They do multiple buys up there.
It's the chase for the Grey Cup. They have 3 downs, and the end zone is like a half a mile long. It's crazy.
You like the Rouge?
What's that?
The Rouge is the one where you kick it through the end zone and you get a point.
I wasn't even aware of that. I remember seeing highlights of Doug Flutie and Warren Moon playing there. Is it like a drop kick or is it?
No, like if just the ball goes out the back of the end zone and any kick, like if you miss the field goal, but it goes out the back of the end zone.
You get a point?
Yeah.
That's something to think about tonight when you look at that Elks line. And I remember when I was a kid, there was like 3 teams named the Rough Riders. There was only 2. There was like the Rough Riders versus the Rough Riders. I'm like,
it's the one with the space and the one without the space.
I'm like, this has to be a mistake. They do things different up there. All right. I mean, football is king in this place and everywhere, God. Tonight, Jacksonville, you heard Kevin talking about, he liked the under tonight, saying that, was it the Saints against AFC teams have gone under a big time. What do you like tonight? What have you seen? I think Trevor Lawrence is playing, right?
Well, the movement indicates that Lawrence, if he plays, and this makes sense with a knee injury suffered on Sunday, like you're expecting him to be, 65%, 70%, if he's able to go on a short week. I don't like New Orleans at all. I think they're fraudulent. I think they have a nice defense.
That defense
that
is
is
nice.
beaten up on very poor offenses, and Derek Carr's toast. I think he's just done. Even though they have good talent on that team. Olave's really good.
Great.
I don't know. Michael Thomas just is not the same post his injuries.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Kamara's still good, even though Derek Carr has turned him into forget the 2 yards and a cloud of dust on a carry. He turned him into 2 yards and a cloud of dust on receiving on a reception. Which is pretty hard to do.
I think he has 1 touchdown this year, Kamara.
Yeah, he was suspended the first 2 games.
Yeah,
too,
right.
so
But still, I mean,
only
he used to
played
be
3 games.
Priest Holmes-like.
Yeah, just there's a good mention.
There's
right
a good
there.
Priest
I
Holmes was the man.
Him and Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson, and then if you want to go, the guy who helped me almost win a Arian Foster with the
Arian Foster,
was
yes,
a beast.
yes. He's
it's
awesome
so sad. These
Houston.
guys, these running backs are like beasts in fantasy, and the run. It's not for long league, man.
No, the middle school and the high school era for me. So,
thanks for sharing.
No problem. Vinny's not here. I have to at least give my.
Did you
age
see the
joke
picture
in.
we put of Vinny up yesterday as a small child in 1889? We'll send you the clip.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
I like that.
I haven't heard from Vinny yet. He hasn't seen it, I guess.
But for tonight, though, I stayed out. I stayed out of this. I understand why the under may be liked. It's actually been bet over from 39 to 40.5.
Wow.
If Lawrence doesn't go and it's C.J. Beathard, that thing's going to go back down again. And New Orleans would probably touch 3. It's kind of built in already that Lawrence may not play. So I'm going to stay out of this game. It's really an uninteresting game.
It really is.
And if you're Jacksonville and Lawrence is at least close to 100%, this is a game you should win on the road, even though you're
you should. I didn't realize C.J. Beathard. That's Bobby Beathard's kid, right? The old GM, I believe. I thought the backup in Jacksonville was still Mark Brunell. I had no idea it was C.J.
I thought you were going to say Blake Bortles.
Blake?
All honesty.
Oh, don't bring up Blake.
I'm sorry. I 45-42 game,
Please.
right?
And by the way, it wasn't that close. That was the Steelers getting a lot of touchdowns late. The Steelers lost to Blake. Mike Tomlin, you lost to Blake Bortles. You've lost to Tim Tebow. He's lost to a lot of inferior quarterbacks. Ryan, you have something for us.
We've got Vinny and his bits.
Oh, you do?
Oh.
Yeah, we've got Vinny in the bits.
Well, let's see it. There it is right there. I was talking about.
Wow.
Yesterday was the first baseball championship and organized by. It was the New York Giants beat the New York Bridegrooms 6-3 in a 9-game series. Really odd. And I said, yes. I said, back in 1889, a young Vinny Melio placed a bet and won 25 cents. And he went out and got some sarsaparilla and saltwater taffy. So I haven't seen Vinny yet.
What flavor of saltwater taffy?
What's that?
That's important, isn't it?
He likes grape.
Oh, okay.
Grape. I think.
Is it? I was expecting the lime and all
Lime,
that.
maybe.
flavor.
Well, I mean, grape. I mean, Italian grappa. The wine is made from grapes. We'll have to ask Vinny. Maybe ask Vinny today what his saltwater taffy favorite is. Maybe we'll have that graphic for you if you want to use it.
He's
today.
going to look at me like I have 15 heads when I ask him that question.
Oh my God. So let's see. What do you want to move on to? I want to talk about the college football game real quick. I mean, everyone's thought Penn State, Ohio State's the game of the week, right?
Of course.
I cannot bet. I can't bet Penn State. I'm a Pitt guy. It's hard for me to root for them. Todd Blackledge beating Dan Marino. Marino was up 14-0. I was gloating to my friends. We were watching it together. This is before phones, bikes on the yard out front. I don't like Penn State, but as I've gotten older, I've softened my hatred for them because I'd rather root for a Pennsylvania team than an Ohio team. So he said 10-2-1. What was the stat Kevin gave? He gave something about 10-2-1
For Penn State?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 10-2-1 in conference on the road. And then there's 6-7 in the last series.
Yeah,
they're
there's
covering the last series.
6 out of 7 they've covered. Yeah, so he liked Penn State a little bit, but I don't know. I just want to enjoy that game. I'm just going to watch it.
So the one thing I will say with the Big Ten trends, just because the bottom of the league and the top of the league might as well be 2 different leagues at this point.
Okay.
Just be a little bit careful.
Especially the divisions.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Just be a little bit careful when you're looking at those conference trends, especially when you're dealing with Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, because they're just way better than everyone else, and they have been for the last half decade. I like the Nittany Lions here.
Yeah.
This is This is a big, big test for Drew Aller. Of course, this is the first time he's gone on the road to the shoe.
Yeah.
And yes, they went to Evanston. I have family in Evanston. No disrespect to Ryan Field. It's not the same environment that he'll see on Saturday in Columbus. This Ohio State team, even with the win at Notre Dame, even with going through this undefeated, even with having the best skill position player in the country, Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's unbelievable.
Something's not like 100% right with that.
They don't. When you watch them, it's the eye test, right?
Yeah.
It's not even looking at the numbers. It's like they're getting by on a couple of these games. So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, like their defense is good. Their defense is much better than it's been. Knowles is a really good coordinator, the guy they got from Oklahoma State the last 2 years. But I think Penn State can hang. Now, there is one rogue 5.5 in the market.
Whoa.
Which I was a little surprised to see this morning.
That's a big.
Yeah, and the rest of the market, including right behind us, is 4.5.
About 4.5.
That's what I thought it should have been. I thought it should have been 4.5, 4 in this game. But I would not be shocked if Penn State pulls this outright upset in the shoe, which sets up the humongous game with Michigan and Penn State. You saw what happened with Michigan today, right, Frank?
I did not.
No, the Michigan coaching staff is getting investigated basically for pulling a Belichick.
Videotaping?
Where they're
Stealing
apparently
signs.
infiltrated other practices right now, and there was even concern in Michigan State. Is like, wait, hey, we might not even want to play this game this weekend because we're concerned about Michigan knowing all of our signals and such.
Oh, Jim Harbaugh! Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jim! Wow, and he already missed 3 games this year, right? Or
Man,
2?
it could be. Yeah, he already missed 3.
Self-imposed.
Self-imposed.
Yeah, self-imposed.
Yeah, it's right now. It's the official thing is allegations of sign stealing. It's not baseball. It's football sign
exactly.
stealing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Wow, that's huge news. I didn't hear that. Michigan. Yeah. Well, Penn State. Everyone. Yeah, I'll probably take Penn State. And again, Franklin. This is a big game for him. They haven't
got to get over the hump.
He's got to do it. James Franklin, who, by the way, the head coach of Penn State, he looks like Keegan-Michael Key. Have you ever seen any of these videos where Keegan-Michael Key has gone in to the Penn State meeting?
I have.
It's hysterical. By the way, after the show and before you come back at 3 to watch Vinny and Jeff, stay on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Go to YouTube and hit James Franklin, Keegan-Michael Key. He brings him into the meeting, and the team goes bananas, and he does an impression. Because I didn't realize, and I've worked with Keegan-Michael Key a lot. I know he's a big Lions fan. He loves the Lions, but he went to Penn State. He's a Penn State grad, so that's he looks. They're dead ringers. They're doppelgangers, for God's sakes. But yeah, that's an interesting game. And anything else in college jumping out, or should we just go to pros?
So I'll just say this. Don't chase bad numbers this week. There are a bunch of totals that got hit down, and everyone, you're going to see it on social media so much. The Service Academy unders.
Oh, yeah.
Even though last year, Army-Navy finally went over last year. But Air Force is playing Navy this week. Air Force is really good. If there was a 12-team playoff, I think Air Force would represent the non-Power 5 teams in that 12-team playoff.
And you can actually get that. Their national championship odds are up here at the South.
I wouldn't bet that this year. If we had 12, hey,
right, maybe
whatever.
There
are worst tickets to 250 to 1.5.
Yeah, right.
But this total is all the way down to 34.
Yikes.
At 34.5. It's not even the lowest total this week, Frank.
What's the lowest?
Because Minnesota and Iowa's got a hearty 31. And the funny part is, I think 31 is still too high in Minnesota and Iowa.
You saw Caitlin Clark outscored Iowa on the football field.
That's not a shock at all.
Exactly.
I mean, because Caitlin Clark is amazing. That Iowa offense, look, I think if you put you or me at quarterback, we might actually get to similar production.
I think so. I think we're that good. I think Jeff and I still have I know I still got a lot of bullets in this arm because I usually only played with a Nerf when I was a kid.
With the Nerf, okay.
Yeah, because that's fine. I could grip a Nerf. And a Nerf, if it hit you in the face, you didn't care. If you fell on it, it wouldn't. Because I remember we'd play with the Duke Junior or regulation football.
Yeah.
And if you fell, it depends if you were playing tackle or rough touch. We had a thing in Pittsburgh called rough touch, which sounds bad, but it's not. It was just, it wasn't too much touch. It was like you could slam somebody. But I was rarely caught. I was very fast. It's like a little scab. I was a little Darren Sproles-ish kind of guy. Scott Van Pelt liked Army versus LSU. He didn't have it in his six-pack, but is that who they're playing? Is it Army?
I don't mind. Now, that one has gone up over the last day plus from 30.5 to 32.5. I don't mind. I didn't mind Army at the 30.5, so I don't mind them at 32.5. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Might be a fun one to take. And let's move to the NFL. Kevin and I were talking about the Steelers-Rams. It's 3.5. I like the half point. The Steelers come in 3. The time zones, here they come. They come far west. And the Rams, I don't know. The Steelers coming off the bye week are usually pretty strong. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to watch that game. It's the 125, 105 start. So I don't know. I'm going to maybe I just lay off and enjoy it because I hate betting on the Steelers. It's very tense for me.
I have no bet on this game.
Yeah,
this is
right?
This is just one of those where
Yeah.
I want to see what of the first 5 weeks for the Steelers was real other than the defense.
Yeah.
Was it just solely because that defense did what they needed to against Cleveland and turned Watson over twice for
and
2
Baltimore
touchdowns the other
too,
way?
yeah.
The Baltimore, I mean, I still can't believe Pittsburgh won that game against Baltimore.
Baltimore dropped 7 passes.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't have won that game. Trust me, I'd already written it off as a loss, and then somehow we won. And all my friends and I are like, did we win this game?
And then the other one, I mean, the Raiders. I know the Raiders are 3-3. The Raiders are not a good football team. The Rams are interesting because last week they ran the ball one time in the first half. Ran it once, and then came out in the second half and ran for over 100 yards in the second half. So it was almost like McVay was just experimenting in the first half. All right, how little can we run the ball and still be in the game against Arizona? And they were lucky that it was only 9-6 at halftime, and then they demolished them. But Kieran Williams is out, the running back that I mentioned. He's out. Ronnie Rivers is still out, so it's
Eric Dickerson's coming back.
Yeah,
Dickerson.
Marshall Faulk.
Maybe. Lawrence McCutcheon is from was on a base football card I had in the 70s. How old were you in 1977, Ryan?
My parents were 2.
Your parents were 2.
That actually might be worse than asking him what his age is, actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ryan. Now, the game I'm going to watch at 10 o'clock, the Raiders. Are you watching the Raiders-Bear game? I know you're a Bears guy.
Hey, bear down.
Hey, that could be the best quarterback matchup of the year, Frank.
Oh, my God.
Tyson
That's Fox. Fox right now is like.
Aiden O'Connell.
What's that? Yeah, right. The kid, he's from Purdue, right?
Yeah, Garoppolo got ruled out at the beginning of the show. So,
so who's their backup? It's
we don't know. We don't know who's starting.
It could be Hoyer.
Could be Hoyer. Could be O'Connell. We don't know yet.
This is gonna be fun.
I believe Jamar Russell. He's probably available somewhere.
I don't think you want Jamar gets Russell.
Earn some of that money, Jamar, that you ripped off from the Raiders. My favorite Jamar Russell, overall #1 pick by the Raiders, played 5 games, whatever.
He was very bad.
He was very bad. My favorite story is they gave him a tape. They said, watch these tapes over the weekend. Let us know what you think of them. Came back over the weekend, like, would you watch tapes? What'd you think? And he's like, yeah, everything looked really good. They were blank tapes. They gave him blank tapes as a test, knowing he would never put them in the VCR. Ryan, a VCR was a video cassette recorder.
I know what a
It was something we would
VCR
watch
is.
movies on. Okay. I used to do this to Jeff. I got Ryan here. He's even younger. We got a couple minutes left. I think the game of the week that everyone's going to be watching. How lucky did NBC get that they have the Dolphins and Eagles? This is the highest over by far, right? It's 52.5. And right now it looks like the Eagles' little small home field advantage. That's going to be an entertaining game for Sunday night.
I love Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They're coming off of a loss they should not have taken to my Jets.
To your level, your Jets.
They threw the ball too much. Now, you have to monitor whatever happens at right tackle because Lane Johnson got hurt early in that game and they couldn't block. But I think that the Lane Johnson injury hurt. But the Jets' defensive line is really good. That was the first defensive line that has given that elite offensive line problems all year. Miami doesn't have that. Yeah, they have Bradley Chubb, but they're nowhere near as good up front as the Jets are. And this just feels like one of those where everyone is freaking out about the Eagles. Oh, maybe the 5-0 start. Maybe we were right to question them. That even though they're 5-0, it's just because they have an easy schedule. They don't look impressive. All that. Jalen Hurts is a one-year wonder. I've heard that a bunch this week.
Yeah, I know. Right?
But when push comes to shove here, really good teams bounce back off of bad performances and play really well. And it doesn't matter to Miami's offense is setting records for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
The one thing with Miami, too, that I'm hesitant on is who have they played?
Mm-hmm.
The only good team they played
the Bills
was Buffalo, and Buffalo hammered them.
Manhandled them,
Hammered them.
Yeah.
Now, they were fortunate to beat the Chargers, but as we've seen with the Chargers, the Chargers.
That's just so. I have a friend who's watch. They're just
poor guy. If he's a fan
It
of
really
that
is. Yeah, it really is.
But in the end here, I think this is a game where Philadelphia inflicts their will. They run the ball like they didn't even attempt to run last week against the Jets.
Yeah.
And I think they inflict their will on the ground. Hurts plays turnover-free football. Tua gets turned over once or twice. I think the Dolphin offensive line will struggle with the Philly pass rush.
Okay.
I do want to see if Darius Slay is playing, though.
Okay,
that is the only hesitation. If he doesn't play, then maybe I'm a little more tepid. But as of this moment, Philadelphia is my favorite play this week in the NFL.
Favorite play from Jeff Parles right there. Yeah. Philadelphia. I like the Tua turnover because you know me, I'm an idiot. I like the prop bets, and they're fun. So maybe a Tua turnover.
Why not?
And you said when the Eagles, when push comes to shove, that was a little brother shove right there.
Yeah, I knew what I was doing.
You knew
there.
you were just so I thought. I picked
doing.
it up. I pick it up. We got good chemistry here, man. I love it. Jeff, thanks for being here. Remember, you can come back. We're off. It's almost 1 o'clock. Come back in 2 hours. He and Vinny are going to talk Thursday Night Football. They're going to talk more football. Kevin like Penn State. Jeff like Penn State. Tonight, if you're looking at the game, it's not the prettiest game to watch. I'll be watching baseball, flicking back and forth. Maybe the under. I don't know.
Yep,
What do you
Jags
think?
and under.
What's that, Ryan?
Kevin like the Jags and under.
Jags in the under. Thank you, Ryan, as always, for writing that stuff down. Everyone who's watching live, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're down here every day at noon, live in Nevada, every show. That's Lines. We're right here at the Sportsbook. Come down and say hello. We really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you. And, tomorrow I will have some bull riding footage. I'm going to go over, check out the bull riding tonight with me and Jerry. We're going to go over. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow on Punchlines.